Today, we're doing a deep dive into Stephen Crane's masterpiece, The Open Boat. And let me tell you, this is so much more than just a survival story. It's actually based on Crane's own experience of being shipwrecked, so it's got this raw, authentic feel. It's a story about what happens when you push people to their absolute limit, when they come face to face with something way scarier than a shark or a storm. And that's a universe that just doesn't care if you live or die.
And we start right here, in the boat with them. I mean, this opening line is just incredible. Think about what it's saying. They don't know the color of the sky. Their whole world has shrunk down to one thing, the next wave. That's it. The sky, which usually symbolizes hope, or the heavens, or just the bigger picture, it doesn't exist for them. They're completely trapped in this horizontal nightmare of gray, threatening water.
So first, let's just get into the sheer physicality of it. This isn't just about being scared. It's a non-stop battle of human muscle and will against the crushing, relentless power of the ocean.
And here are our guys. Notice, they're not even given names, really, just their jobs. They're stripped down to their basic functions. You've got the captain, who's injured but still trying to lead. The oiler, Billy, he's the workhorse, the strongest one. The cook, who's just bailing water non-stop. And the correspondent, who is basically Stephen Crane himself. And they're all stuck in a 10-foot dinghy. I mean, that's barely bigger than a bathtub, out in the open ocean. It's an absolutely insane situation.
I love the language here. To these men, the waves aren't just waves. They feel personal, wrongfully and barbarously. It's like they feel the ocean is choosing to attack them, that it has some kind of malicious intent. It's not just a force of nature. In their minds, it's an enemy that's actively trying to kill them.
And this really shows you what that fight looked like. This was not a passive, let's wait for rescue situation. It was constant, backbreaking, mind-numbing work every single second of the day. Every single action was life or death. Even something as simple as switching who's rowing was this incredibly dangerous maneuver that could flip the whole boat. One mistake, one moment of lost focus, and it's all over.
Okay, so as this brutal fight for survival is going on outside the boat, something really interesting starts to happen inside the boat. It's like the more the world tries to tear them apart, the closer they become.
This, right here, is the soul of the story. Out there, facing oblivion, all the normal social rules just melt away. It's not about who's the captain and who's the cook. They're just four guys, all in the same terrible predicament. And this unspoken bond forms between them. It's a connection built on pure survival and mutual respect. Crane calls it a warmth, a little flicker of humanity in the middle of all that cold, deadly water.
And here's the wild paradox. The correspondent, the cynical journalist who's seen it all and trusts no one, he realizes that this terrifying near-death experience is also the most profound and meaningful moment of his entire life. Think about that. He finds the deepest human connection possible while literally staring death in the face. It's a huge revelation for him. Even if they don't make it, this bond, this brotherhood, meant something.
But, and this is a massive but, right as they're having this profound human moment, they start to notice something truly chilling about the world around them. It's not that nature hates them, it's that nature doesn't even know they're there.
This quote is just brilliant. It comes when they see these seagulls just casually sitting on the very same giant, monstrous waves that are threatening to kill them. For the birds, the sea isn't angry, it's just the sea. And in that moment, the men realize their terror is a purely human thing. The wrath of the sea is just something they made up in their own heads. The sea isn't mad at them. The sea feels nothing.
And that leads to the story's big philosophical gut punch. I mean, it's one thing to fight an enemy, right? If something is actively trying to destroy you, you can get angry, you can fight back, you can hate it. But what do you do when you realize the thing you're fighting doesn't even register your existence?
And there it is, the big, terrifying truth of the story. The universe isn't cruel, it isn't kind, it isn't anything. It's just indifferent. It's a giant, unthinking machine, and these men are just tiny specks caught in the gears. And honestly, that's a much more modern and bone-chilling horror than some angry sea god who wants you dead. It's the horror of being utterly, completely, and totally insignificant.
So how does this indifference actually manifest itself? Well, in the cruelest way possible, through hope. In this story, hope isn't a comfort. Hope is a form of psychological torture.
Just look at this agonizing progression. It's a masterclass in building up and then crushing hope. First, a tiny speck of a lighthouse. Maybe we're saved. Then, nope. Then, a building on the shore, a rescue station. Then, nope, it's empty. Then they see a person, finally, and then he doesn't see them. Each glimmer of salvation gets a little closer, a little more real, and that just makes it all the more painful when it disappears.
This scene is just brutal. The men are literally dying, and these tourists on the beach think they're just watching some fishermen having a fun day out. The guy waving the coat isn't signaling for help, he's just being friendly. Their life and death struggle has become a pleasant little seaside spectacle for other people. It shows you that there's this enormous, uncrossable gulf between their world of desperation and the safe, normal world on the shore.
And this is the sound of a man absolutely breaking. It's a scream of pure rage at the absurdity of it all. It's not just about the fear of drowning. It's about the cosmic injustice of being shown this perfect picture of safety, sand, trees, people, only to have it snatched away. It feels like the universe is playing a sick, pointless joke on them.
So rescue isn't coming. All hope is gone. There's only one thing left to do: make a run for it themselves. A final, desperate gamble against the deadly surf.
And the tension is just off the charts. They've somehow survived the open ocean for days, only to face the most dangerous part in the last few hundred feet to shore. The oiler, Billy, the most skilled guy, is at the oars, but they all know this is basically a suicide run. And then the wave comes, a huge, unstoppable wall of water that just erases their little boat.
Now, we really need to focus on Billy, the oiler. Throughout this whole ordeal, he's been the hero. He's the strongest, he's worked the hardest, he's never complained. If this were a movie, if this were a world with any sense of justice or fairness, Billy is the one who's guaranteed to survive. He's earned it more than anyone.
And for a second, it looks like that's exactly what's going to happen. Even after the boat flips and they're all thrown into the freezing water, Billy immediately takes the lead. He's swimming hard for the beach. And as a reader, you breathe this sigh of relief. You think, okay, good, of course. The strongest one makes it. That makes sense.
And then you get this sentence. It's one of the most shocking, gut-wrenching lines in all of American literature. Just like that, all his strength, all his hard work, his quiet heroism, it meant absolutely nothing. The indifferent universe didn't reward him. It just killed him, randomly, inches from safety.
And this is the final brutal irony. The other three, they get rescued. People run out with blankets and warm drinks. They're saved. But for Billy, the best of them, the land has nothing to offer but a grave. His death is the final, undeniable proof of the story's main idea. Survival is not a reward for being strong or good. It's just a lottery ticket. It is blind, meaningless chance.
So in the end, the story leaves us with this enormous, haunting question. If it's all just random luck, then why bother? What's the point of all that struggle, all that effort? The story doesn't give us an easy answer. But maybe the point wasn't survival. Maybe the point was that subtle brotherhood. Maybe in a universe that doesn't care about us, the only meaning we'll ever find is the meaning we create for each other, even if it's just for a little while, in a tiny boat, lost at sea.